Dakarji, you will stay with us as we stay on this topic. Russia's top military officer, Valery Gerasimov, has inspected frontline troops in eastern Ukraine as fighting intensifies around Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. According to Russia's defense ministry, Gerasimov reviewed battlefield updates from commanders of the center group of forces and assessed operations during his visit. The key area, a key focus in Moscow's push to control Donetsk, is seeing heavy clashes. A video posted on Telegram showed Gerasimov arriving by military helicopter and meeting officers on the ground. Russia now controls around 19% of Ukraine's internationally recognized territory, including Crimea and most of Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson regions. Now we go back to our guest discussion with retired Major General Dakarji. He's a senior geopolitical and strategic defense expert. Thank you for staying with us. Now, how does an inspection by a top military officer like Gerasimov typically influence frontline troop morale and operational command based on your experience?
Morale and motivation is a matter of connect between the leaders, right, on the top and with the troops who are fighting on the ground. And most such kind of meetings during the ongoing conflict will definitely inject that stimulus of high spirit and the will to dedicate oneself for the success or the victory in the war. So, plus understanding the grassroots problems will be far, far better when the leadership on the top goes down to the grassroots level, tries to apply himself, speak to the troops, get first-hand information, analyze, take a feedback, and so as to, it's called a OODA loop, observe, orient, detect, direct, and act. So in order to connect all these 5 components, there is a feedback loop which is injected, and it is passing back the information or directions right up to the political level for quick response so as to fortify the troops who are deployed on the ground. Last but not the least is the very important issue. It is the phase of the operation and what lies ahead. It is to prepare the troops for the unforeseen eventualities, the contingencies, tell them the pros and cons, the pluses and minuses of every option available, and also be with them in times of criticality so as to make them stronger and enhance the self-confidence in the troops on the ground as also the leadership in the intermediate and at the tactical level. And all these, unless the defense hardware is actually supported and supply chain is extended in a sustainable manner, perhaps the end state will not be achieved. The end state, as I see, is to continue to retain the land bridge between the Donbass region and the Crimea, which Ukraine will always try to snatch it back from Russia, and Russia will always try to defend it to the hilt and not give it back to Ukraine. Crimea, in any case, Russia is not going to surrender that easily. For me, it is a very, very strong red light as far as Russia is concerned, and therefore worse can be expected when Ukraine, duly supported by USA and the NATO forces or the European Union and UK, if they try to support Ukraine to take back Crimea, that may be a kind of a turning point in the entire conflict. And that willy-nilly is going to demonstrate how effectively Russia is holding out along the eastern flank of Ukraine. And mind you, it is in 7 layers of defenses, not one or layer. And there are a couple of communication centers which actually forbid Russian forces. If these communication centers are lost out, then the logistic bases are going to be disrupted and the supply chain is going to be broken in between, thereby causing very hardship and maybe deprivation to the troops on the ground. So therefore, these are the couple of issues which a senior commander would always like to go on ground, see on troops and prepare them for the worst eventuality.
Yes.
Last but not the least, the worst is coming. If the supply of arms, ammunition, hardware is not stopped by USA and the European countries to Ukraine, there is no end to the sight of ceasefire in any form. The conflict will continue. God only knows till when.
Yes. Thank you very much, Major General Sudhakarji, for joining us today and sharing your insight as a retired Major General. Thank you very much. Now we move on to our next news. Now we have